I think she was board president at the time when Umpqua Community College up in Oregon had a shooting incident on campus back in 2015, and tragically one professor and 8 students lost their lives in that event. And some of the things that she talked about was the overwhelming response of the media that they weren't prepared to handle, and also the lack of or the fall of communication throughout their campus when that incident occurred. They didn't know who the go-to person was. There was just not that chain of command as a policy with their board or anything like that. So that was, very confusing to them. And then, they're still 4 years later, they're still dealing, with the effects of that tragedy, because a lot of trauma occurs. A lot of a lot of students are affected, and they weren't prepared for all the counseling that they experienced after that tragedy. Here at Merced College, I have a lot of confidence in our board policies and our administration, our faculty, our staff, our police department, but there's always room for improvement. And I hope that we can take what Trustee Upton and I learned at this conference and improve upon what we already have. Here I have a diagnostic tool that we could all go through as a board, and go through the check marks and decide what areas need improvement here on our campus. And then there's another chart here that I brought, which is 13 indicators to look for and to assess the resilience of an organization. I think this would be an appropriate topic for our next retreat, that we can start this discussion and just be prepared for an emergency or a natural disaster, because the common message was that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We can all agree that we live in a very, very different world, and we need to be concerned, about these possibilities. And we also had a speaker from the Virginia Tech shooting, which is considered to be the deadliest in history, where 32 students lost their lives. And Portland Community College has a team that handles all their cases of potential suicide and sexual assaults. And they're the cross-disciplinary behavioral interventionist teams. And I'm not sure if we have that here on our district. But they went through that process. It was very interesting on what they were dealing with, how they handled it, and the privacy of the students. And I also noticed on their campus they have a Dreamers Center, which is a place for dreamers to gather and feel safe and have the ability to talk to somebody when they have any fears. But they also not only involved the student in that Dreamer Center, but they also involved the student's family, because their families also deal with a lot of issues of fear when it comes to the possibility of dealing with immigration issues and being deported. And we also had a very interesting discussion on guns on campus. And we had the speakers that were on video were, I believe, from Kansas, right, Trustee? A community college in Kansas, where their board approved students to carry guns on campus. And it was really interesting to hear both sides of that. The other side of the presentation were speakers from another community college where their board decided not to allow it just because of the simple fact that in the event of an active shooter, the good student trying to protect everybody else with a gun can get confused by police that they're the active shooter. So there are a lot of things to take into consideration there. And yes, I agree with Trustee Upton. The cybersecurity issue is another huge issue that we should be paying attention to in our new world. But it was the point driven was that it's a lot more expensive to recover from a cybersecurity breach than it is to be prepared for a cybersecurity breach.
I'd like to offer one comment and see if you agree with me. Those people that talked to us about how they were prepared, they felt they were well prepared. And when the tragedy came, they weren't that well prepared. And they didn't know it until they went through it. And so we can benefit from their experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. There was also a speaker on at a community college in when it was that flood. My name's at the tip of my tongue, but basically the entire campus flooded in I think it was Hurricane Katrina, right? Hurricane Katrina. But there was a lot of insurance issues that they dealt with after that flood. They found out they didn't have enough coverage in some of the policies. They had enough coverage to replace that specific building, but one thing that we sometimes forget about is that is to obtain enough coverage to, when we build or replace that building, to build a new higher technological building, something with more updated, which obviously would be a larger expense. But, the Virginia tech shooter was pretty amazing. Her resilience was obvious. And she was shot 3 times during that incident, one in the back, one in her buttocks and her toe. And she didn't know if she was alive or dead, but she laid there, during the entire time the active shooter was shooting up everybody in her class. So that really brings to light, what as a family, as a college community, where we, need to just keep it top of mind, and I know we can improve. I know we can do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Ochoa. Trustee Mendoza.
I don't have much to report, but I met up with Dr. Vitelli to discuss a matter that I was brought before, I believe, about first meeting we had about transportation, and it's for the students. It's like an express route. It looks very promising, so that's a plus. And I also discussed with them about arranging a tour of the schools that I represent. So he's going to do that, and me, myself, and him, and Mike will be arranging. So I look forward to that. So that's our got to report at this time.
All right, thank you. I just have a couple of things. I understand from McSwain School, where my kids go, that at one of the parent meetings coming up, Merced College is going to be there to talk to the Spanish English immersion parents, and so the faculty that the parent group that attends is really excited to hear about Merced College. So I'm grateful that I think it's going to be Freddie who's going to go out and talk. So I'm grateful for that. I also had the chance to come and bring my kids to the FFA Field Day competition, which was held here on campus two Saturdays ago. And there was high schoolers from all over the state here, and we got to see the prepared. Some were nervous, some were confident, but they were all very excited to be on a college campus. So Professor Ornelas invited me in. We saw the electrical, welding, the surveying. There's just so many aspects, and these are, I can tell that they call them future farmers of America. They're future leaders in all divisions. So that was a really exciting thing to come to, and I watched the Merced College women's basketball team game online. So I thought we were really close. Last year we had them come to one of the board meetings, so if it's not too much trouble, I'd really like to see them again. That was really a high point for me. That is all I have, but I know that the plant sale is coming up, which is always successful, and so I'll be here on the 6th for that. All right, and that's all I have. Next on the agenda's Superintendent President's report.
Yes, I'll comment on a few things. One, publicly, of course, we're very proud of our girls basketball team and Coach Allen. Women's basketball team. Thank you. And Coach Alan Huddleston did such a fantastic job again this year. We will invite the women's team to come to the April board meeting so you all can publicly recognize them and help celebrate their accomplishment again this year. I did put at each of your places at the dais a calendar of events. I will note that tomorrow we have the Be the Match event. You're welcome to come out. If not, to put your name in the registry. You can always help out at one of the tables. We'd be happy to have you. You can talk to me or Dr. McCandless after tonight's board meeting. The farmers market starts back up April 2nd, and we would love for you all to spread the news and invite others to come and be a part of the farmers market. It's been a big hit in the community. It's been nice to have our community members on our campus every week on Tuesday evenings from 4 to 6:30ish over in front of the public safety area, formerly known as the Tri-College Center. Plant sale, April 6th, Saturday morning, always popular, and encourage you all to come and participate and get some spring veggie plants and others for your garden.
Got to get there early.
Got to get there early, not too early though. Even if you're a trustee, I don't think you get in early.
Well, last year I showed up late, and I was just like, "Can I buy that?" And they're like, "That's grass." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Can I buy that?" No, that's not for sale. So
Yeah.
I'm early.
It's true. An update on transportation. Dr. McCandless has been working with ASMC to discuss contract with the bus, and so at a future a future meeting, I'll work with President Ramirez to get that. We keep those lists of topics, so we know when they're coming, and I'll work with President Ramirez to get a presentation by Dr. McCandless and his team on what we're doing in that regard. Can't say it enough, but because this is the meeting we approved it, just want to thank again Jill Cunningham and the Merced College Foundation for your outstanding work. Generosity breeds generosity, and when you get someone in the community who's willing to give big, others see that. And I know that this is just the beginning, and I don't say that to set the expectation higher for Jill. You've well exceeded expectations. You get a couple days off, and then we'll see if we can't double that in a couple weeks. But in all seriousness, that is a phenomenal gift to secure, and it's going to be wonderful for our programs. Let's see, safety, it's been brought up a couple times tonight. I sent you a report on where we're at with our safety initiatives. We've had several trainings, active shooter trainings. We've replaced almost all the locks within the district. We're finishing that up in the month of April, and that should be completed also, starting a phase of new cameras, and several other initiatives, and we'll always provide you guys updates. That's a big priority for us in the district. Also want to let you know that we have secured a contract with Darden Architects to restructure your dais as you've asked to be done as part of your board goals. So I'll work with President Ramirez to maybe reassign a couple that can work with us on that. You have a committee, and some of those aren't here anymore, so her and I will work on a few of you helping to see that project through completion. And then I want to end with letting this board know that I am out in this community often, as you are. I've been in this role for, I'll be going into my third academic year next year. I literally probably meet with hundreds of community members, sometimes on a weekly, for sure on a monthly basis. There's not too many events, and this isn't about me, but I'll get to my point in just a moment. there's not too many events that we don't have a presence at these days. There's not too many organizations that I haven't personally gone to visit. And you see in my board reports, I let you know who I'm meeting with in this community. That's very important to me, that we have a strong relationship with this community. And I say that because as a part of my report, I want you to know that this community thinks very highly of Merced College right now. And that's not because of me. That's because of the collective efforts of our entire campus. That's because of our student body. That's because of our administrators, our faculty, our classified staff, all of you. You know, we don't respond to public comments because that's not what public comments are for. But in my report, what I want you to know is that in my interaction, all the community is saying is how proud they are of the work we're doing. They're excited about the positive energy. And while we can't respond to public comments, I can tell you in my report that when we talk about things like bonds and planning, and we talk about going out to this community and making an ask, they're not nitpicking some of the things that you might hear from time to time. They are coming to me saying, it is clearly a new day at Merced College. We're proud to be a part of this community, and we're proud that Merced College is stepping up to the plate. And I'm very proud of that as well. And again, that doesn't reflect necessarily on my leadership, but the collective leadership of everybody in this district. And while I recognize the importance always of diversity in our leadership positions, our faculty positions, and others, I can tell you that hasn't been commented to me one time in the thousands of interactions that I've had with community members throughout this community. All they do is speak very highly of the work we're doing. And so I want to thank you all. I want to thank the administrators and faculty and staff that are in this audience. And I would say that in front of any group, just how far we've come and the positive reputation our district has. And I want you to know that publicly as part of my report. And that's all I have. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, we do get your report. You are everywhere. So thank you for that. You are everywhere. Okay, agenda item 14, future discussion items. We've talked about a few that we'd like to see and some that are already in queue. But is there any new items that the board would like to see on a future meeting? Trustee Ochoa?
Board President Ramirez, I'd like to get an update on the progress of the soccer task force, if that's okay.
Yeah, we can. I'm sure that'll be a good informational item. Anything else? Okay, well, you know, when inspiration strikes, you can always reach out to me or to President Vitelli. Item 15, there is no second of closed session, so at this time, we will adjourn.